5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit it. Hi, I'm Michael. And from afar,
I'm Grace.
And together we are California Travel Videos. And we are so happy to have you here. And to our guests, I brought them right up aboard because we're going to have up to an hour and a half of fun. Corey and Lori from the Northwoods RV Life. Did I get that right?
Hello, guys. Glad to be here.
Glad to be here.
Good to have you here. And we're going to do a fun interview. I guess it's probably been a couple years ago when I discovered them. It's really kind of an interesting background. You know, the genesis of how you find people is that about 40 miles north of where we live in Sonoma County, California, maybe about the same distance again, is up to the Northwoods Redwoods. And so when I was searching YouTube for the Northwoods, there they were, and the rest is history. I was so happy that I found them and that they are in a different Northwoods. So, Lori and Corey, tell us about where the real Northwoods are at in Michigan.
We're actually in the southern peninsula of Michigan, but we do all our travels up north near the UP of Michigan and through the Straits of Mackinac area. And, down here, it's kind of boring for us, so we want to head north to travel. So get away from people and get to where it's a little more remote. So we absolutely enjoy the outdoors and love the UP. And there's plenty of outdoors up there to enjoy.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, I can't wait to talk to you a little bit more. Let's introduce everybody here. And if you want to join in, too, you're certainly welcome to with all of our good friends here. And hey, Gina. So Van Life with Gina. We had a great time with you, sister. And thank you for everything you did. We had I don't know if you call it O20, when I like to joke about being the big O in Oregon, where Teresa and Mike with Meant to Be RVing and Gina. And who were some of the others? I think I even heard about it when they were talking to Whoa Nelly with Lucy and Brian. Oh, sure. Mo Bang for your buck. We interviewed Tim recently, and we had two Tims. We also had a Tim from Time for Exploring. Gracie, we had a good time with her. She was our next door neighbor on one side.
Gracie's Seeking Adventures.
What's that?
Gracie's Seeking Adventures.
Gracie's Seeking Adventures. And let's see. Who else did we have? Oh, there was a dozen, I'm sure. We got a lot more. Let's see, Troy and Christian were there, and who else? Got any others you can think of? There are a couple. We'll get to there. The brain is slow, but hey, after a couple of beers, I'll be fine.
And we're saying hello to all of those with us today. Gina and Teresa. Captain Jack just came over from his show.
Captain Jack, yeah, great to have you here. Loved doing the interview with you, but just a couple of weeks ago. And James Kentonese. Happy to have you here. I think he was over with Captain Jack. Great show.
And Dan and Kathleen.
Dan and Kathleen. Oh, Kathleen, I tell you, that gal, she does get around. Good to have you, Kathleen and Dan. And the Dyson's Crazy Adventure. And what's that?
Thank you for moderating, Kathleen.
Yes. Oh, Kathleen. Oh, man, you're competing with Grace for her job. She said she was going to be Rose Queen 49 today, right?
And Kathleen says, you spot them and I'll whack them.
That is good. You set them up and she'll knock them down. Okay, thank you for that, Kathleen. Great to have you there. And we always love seeing Sue also from the Lucky Dog. So everybody, if you have some questions as we go along, just put an uppercase Q or something for your question, and then let it rip with your questions, because this is your show as much as it is ours. So are we ready to get started?
Say hello to Ray.
Ray, oh man, Van Life Rocks is here. Woohoo! Hey Ray, good to have you here. Another fantastic interview with Ray, and he's down in probably the southern states still. But I'd love to hear about the temperature there. Beautiful day here up in Medford, Oregon, and I'm curious out there in the southern part of Michigan. What's your weather like today?
Today it's not too bad. I think it was what?
70.
About mid-60s, 70 degrees today. Yeah. And a little cloudy, but not too bad. We've finally starting to warm up. We had a cold spell the last few weeks and had some cold, rainy days, and but it's finally starting to change around now. And looks like the forecast, at least for the next couple of weeks, is looking pretty good. So
Yeah. Now I saw your recent. I think it was a live stream. Everybody, be sure to go to the Northwoods RV Life and watch their shows. And if you like it, put a like, comment, and they'd love to have your subs. They're up to about 2,300, but we'll talk about that in just a moment. But I think you, as I understand it, you like to buy things from Jeff Bezos, like me, as I understand it.
Mark is hopeless with
I have
Amazon.
an Amazon addiction. Yeah.
Yeah, he's hopeless.
Yeah. Well, he needs the money. I mean, 150 billion. He's kind of like running short on change. So we'll keep doing what we can.
I'm one that considers time as money, and me wandering around a store looking for stuff I don't have time for. So I order stuff, and when it gets here, we work on projects and things like that. And
Corey is still gainfully employed. You're making that money for Social Security. We thank you for your Social Security payments there. So we'll try to save some for you.
I don't think we'll be on it, but have fun with it anyway.
Well, I'd hate to disappoint you on that, but because of where I do work, we are considered a state employee, and we opt out of Social Security. So my money doesn't go into Social Security anymore, but luckily I still have enough points that I can get my Social Security when I retire.
Yeah. Well, does that mean you have to stay in Michigan the rest of your life and then some, your kids' lives?
No.
Okay. But let's see. So I guess I understand that you like to kind of compartmentalize projects. So you'll get stuff from Amazon and wherever, and then when it thaws out, which apparently it has now, and I think you're getting ready to do some RV trips. Tell us about what your plans are here coming up in the next month or two.
Oh, well, and we got a little over a week and a half. We'll be taking off for Memorial Day weekend, and we have kind of a long weekend because we usually take extra days beforehand or afterwards and make it a little bit longer. 3 days just isn't enough for a holiday weekend, so we usually try to make it more like about 5 or 7 if we can. And but we're getting ready to take off to kind of a family favorite of ours. We've become very good friends with the owners of the campground. It's a privately owned campground. It's pretty much in the middle of nowhere. We're going to be lucky if we have cell service there. We're going to be just camping and cooking and spending some time around the campsite, doing some filming and stuff because
so the official kickoff of summer around here, it's pretty much too cold to camp much before now. So
in fact, I got a memory pop up on Facebook today that a couple years ago we had snow on this day.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. We've had snow Memorial Day before.
Yeah, I know that in Alaska and actually in California too, they say don't plant until Memorial Day. Now I know Memorial Day is going to be nasty, but when you have somewhere kind of off in the woods like you in the Northwoods, is that you can have something where, especially where if you really like it, you don't mind going back because it just feels comfortable, right?
Yep.
Yeah, we have a couple campgrounds we like to visit all year round. We'll go there anytime that we can. And then our biggest trips we take and we camp almost a half a month up near the Straits of Mackinac, near the Mackinac Bridge. And we take day trips from there into the UP. So we can run, 2-3 hours pretty much into the UP from that location and make it back for the night back to Mackinac. And it's kind of the border edge of civilization before you head into the UP.
Where the real Northwoods starts.
The real Northwoods,
the Sasquatch area.
Yeah, because once you cross the Mackinac Bridge and you get about 5 miles north of it, you pretty much are going to start losing cell signal, and you're not going to get it back till you get near another major town. So,
Oh yeah. So we got some other people that came in. Just want to acknowledge them. Frederick, good to have you here, and hope you got a connection that's working a little bit better for you. Captain Jack, once again, I hope you're feeling well. Ahoy.
Marshall.
And Nate and Marshall. Here's look at Nate knows everybody, doesn't he? Dan, Marshall, Kate, Christina, Ray, and everyone. Dan, Kathleen, Dyson's, yes, Van Life Rocks, Captain Jack, Scrapper, and
Captain Jack is our neighbor.
Yeah, he's not too far away from us. He's about 40 minutes from us.
Yep.
Oh, I didn't know he was that close. I thought is he east of you?
He's just west and south of us.
Yep.
Oh, nice. And Marshall, congratulations, everybody. Hoo for Marshall. 1K, 1,000. He is ready to monetize. Okay, congratulations.
Yeah, that's
Well
awesome.
done. Yeah, he's going to have both jets on, and he'll be moving up quickly. So, and well deserved, I will say. He is Mellow Nomadic Adventures, and be sure to go ahead and check him out, especially if you have a smaller rig. He, like Tim with Mo Bang for the Buck, some of these people, they do more with less, but don't tell Grace. Grace, what do you think? Do I do more with more? Do I do less with more?
The struggle is real.
The struggle is real, she says.
And Captain Jack says, when you're all under the bridge, you'll all be a troll. Cross to the upper peninsula, you become a youper.
Okay, well, speaking of
under
with the trolls. Speaking of under the bridge, I went about maybe 20 miles today, about 10 out and 10 back on the Bear Valley Greenbelt, I guess it was called, and it was beautiful out here. And we had the same in Grants Pass, Oregon. It's some great places to go bike riding, and I'm curious, is up there in Michigan, do you have amenities that people want to go walking or bike riding along some of the trails, or is it just mostly...
Tons and tons of trails.
Tons and tons of trails.
Yep.
We actually have quite a trail system from about where we are, pretty much anywhere north, that ends up getting utilized as groomed snowmobile trails during the wintertime. But during the summer, a lot of those trails are paved for bike riding and walking and stuff. And you can go literally hundreds of miles down these trail systems and pretty much explore anything from here north. So
Yep, there's a huge trail system here.
That is helpful. I mean, now, I was a boy. I was born in Minnesota, don't you know, and the land of 10,000 lakes. And I love to fish. You'd put a worm or a minnow on a bobber, and you'd put it in the lake, and within 5 minutes, something was bam, hit it. In California, not so much. I mean, it's like trying to get salmon or trout. Nah, I decided I was more observer. But do you fish up there in Michigan, or have any sports you like to do?
Oh yeah.
Here in Michigan, we're pretty much, no matter where you are in the state, you're probably about within 20, 30 minutes from a lake somewhere, whether it be an inland lake or a Great Lake. And there's a ton of fishing opportunities. Our DNR has actually done a very good job on the west side of the state with, programs to help stock salmon and coho and all kinds of stuff. So we get big salmon runs in the fall as the salmon come back up into the rivers and things like that. There's all kinds of fishing opportunities here in Michigan. So.
Oh yeah.
Beautiful. Now, I guess that I'm seeing there was a comment there was asking about, do you have electric bikes? I don't think you do. I don't know if you have a, tell us about your trailer. I don't think you pull a motorcycle or anything behind it, but tell us a little bit about your rig.
Our rig, it's a little bit older rig. It's a 2006 Salem LE 30-foot travel trailer, dual slide. We've had it now for 5 going on 6 years. Our plan was when we purchased it to have it for about 8 before we upgrade. We wanted to get my youngest daughter through high school before the next upgrade. So about 1.5 years and we'll be in the market for a new trailer.
We'll be empty nesters.
Oh, really?
Yep. We got a really good deal on our trailer.
Are you pulling with an SUV, as I recall, or something? But
I used to have an SUV when we first started hauling a trailer, our first trailer. Well, that one was a 26-foot. I used to have an Expedition.
Right, the Expedition, yeah.
When I bought this trailer, the Expedition just wasn't enough truck for it. I wasn't ready to move into the diesel world as of yet. So at the time, I went to an F-150 crew cab that was well within the towing capacities of the camper. But it was still just quite not enough. We'd get into some taller hills up north and things, and I started having problems with cracked exhaust manifolds and
oh boy.
The grades were just too high.
Yeah, it was just killing the truck, pulling the weight of the trailer, and when I start getting some grades. So I ended up trading my it was an F-150 King Ranch, and I ended up trading that in a few years back, and I have a F-250 Super Duty Cabela's edition.
I was thinking about, we went as far as Battle Creek. In fact, we kind of wondered, are we going to go through Michigan? And I thought, when I was a boy, cereal, it was like it all had these like trinkets from, you had to redeem them, was Battle Creek, Michigan. And so we had to go see the cereal capital of the world. And it was fairly flat around there, but you're north of that, and where you
we
live?
are north of that. We're north of that, but we're still considered kind of flat land right here where we are.
We're right at the
about
edge
an hour north of us. We start getting into some rolling hills heading north.
Yep.
Here this is mostly kind of small towns and farm country here.
Farm country, yeah.
What's this stuff about scratch and sniff here? Nate, what is that all about? Does that have something to do with the dogs, or we have a sidebar conversation?
That was on his live the other night. He said that when you get enough thumbs up, that you do it scratch and sniff, and if you hit the thumbs up, it'll have different smells.
Different smells for scratch and sniff. So Nate and we both have fluffy white dogs. Although that's his copyright there. We're not going to use that name, but he's done very well with the shorts on fluffy white dogs. And I don't know if you've watched his shows, but every time he gets on his live streams, when he gets 5 additional likes, he'll give his dogs each a treat. So it's pretty funny when he does like that. Now, you travel with your daughter some, or is just mostly the two of you, or how does that work?
Yeah, we first started traveling with the YouTube channel. Lori's youngest and my youngest were still at home. And her youngest now is off to college and an adult and just graduated college here a couple weeks ago. And so we just have mine left here at home. But a lot of our trips here within Michigan, because we travel primarily Michigan right now is all we travel. So, we travel quite often with, some of our older kids too, and friends and family, and we'll travel in groups. So.
That's good. I mean, it's a nice way to do it, but you have something big coming up this year. I think there is a meetup in Michigan. Tell us about how you're going to be part of that.
Yeah, we actually have 2 meetups that we're going to be a part of this year. The M21 meetup here in Michigan. When
you said that, Corey, you said to me, it's like, that's the deal, right? That's the big one, right?
The M21 meetup.
Now, tell us about the M21.
So, the M21 meetup is here in central lower Michigan in September. I believe that's the 24th through the 26th. And there is a Facebook group. Kevin from Where Stain is heading all that up over there. And
now, Kevin, just to kind of segue for a second, excuse me. He's does he sell RVs? I know he's in the RV industry, but that's very nice that he's doing this to kind of bring birds of a feather together. But how is he related to the RV industry?
He used to be a RV salesman at one point in time. Not really sure what Kevin does for work now, but I know he was a salesman at one time.
So he does it just for the love of it, sounds like then.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had planned this meetup at another location last year. And then this year it wasn't available. Is that what happened?
Yeah.
So they brought it up to our area. It's right in our backyard almost.
Yeah, it's literally only 25 minutes from our house. So we've actually camped at that campground many a time.
Yeah, we used to stay there lots of times.
So we're familiar with it.
It sounds like they still have openings too, or are they all filled up as far as
you know? Lots of openings. Yep.
They do have openings. They're beyond the period of saving spots for us, but they do have spots open still. So.
Well, that's nice. So I guess that when you go, do you kind of like mostly hang out with certain friends, or do you kind of, when you go different places, do you like to just kind of meet people, or solo, or what's kind of your style like this?
We always enjoy meeting people and, meeting different camp hosts at the campgrounds and getting out and about. One of the things we've kind of liked with the channel, we have our channel name on our trailer and stuff like that. And if we're out and about in town, wherever we're staying, we've had a few people go, "Oh, hey, you guys are the Northwoods. It's at the campground," and stuff like that. Yep. So that's been kind of nice to meet people through having the channel and them seeing the signage on the trailer as well. So
it's a great way to meet people. It brings them to the area or to our area, and then we talk about the channel and other things. And we've met a lot of people that way.
Yep.
That's really nice. Yeah, it really makes it feel good when you I don't know. I used to be a Girl Scout leader. Make new friends, but keep the old. One is silver and the other is gold.
Yep.
You remember that, don't you? Well, speaking of which, Lori, you when Corey was kind of, I don't know if you were out on your back, but out on your side there, when you had your infection problem, and thank God you've recovered. So good to have you back there. And when Lori, you were kind of doing a show. Do you still do your own show, or what's going on with your kind of solo side of the business?
No, I decided against doing the show. It was, at the time anyway, it was really stepping on a lot of other channels. And I hated to try to pull people away from shows that they'd already been watching. But I ended up really just not having the extra time with doing the regular weekly show that we do and trying to help him get things around for his podcast show. So there ended up it just didn't work out.
Yeah, you guys have so much you do, and I guess that's where at some point you have to kind of modulate. You got all these balls you're juggling up there, but we'll talk about your Facebook group in just a second. So happy that with all your successes there. And as I recall, on one of your shows recently, you talked about the fact that you used to do kind of like, I'm cutting back a little bit myself, but, spend a lot of time getting ready for the live streams. And then you've got your individual videos you want to do and all your other channels that you're trying to do. Yep. And it's tough. So, so you want to get kind of like Tim would say, more bang for the buck. So at some point, I think, isn't that what you're at? So your live streams are kind of more extemporaneous now.
Yeah.
We were doing pre-planning, doing live streams based on subjects, trying to really kind of target YouTube search with our live streams. What we found a lot was that searchable items, when people saw a live stream, they didn't really watch it after the fact of it being live. So you start looking at, okay, well, you're putting a lot of effort into putting together a live stream that maybe it's better just to kind of go off the cuff, not spend so much time up hand planning, things like that. The live video podcast, I had quite a bit of trouble getting people lined up to come in all the time on a regular basis. And, even with that, I would have a full flow sheet I would send to the guest and say, okay, this is kind of the flow of the podcast. These are some general questions that we'll ask, but there might be more questions that come in the middle of it all type thing. But so that they had an idea, especially when you're reaching out to a larger channel. We did a few large channels like we did Traveling Robert, we did Matt's RV reviews, things like that. When you're reaching out to larger channels and you're asking them for an interview, one of the first things they ask is, well, what are you going to ask me? So we would have that little flow chart set up so that we could send it to them and say, this is kind of what we do. And they have an idea and aren't shocked at what you're asking them during the middle of the live. So.
Yeah, well, Blue Wave Odyssey, I see that they come and pop by your live streams. They're doing quite well. And so, you've got Izzy over there also and some other big channels that like to come and support you. So I think you guys are doing really good, aren't you?
Yeah, a lot of us came up together. Izzy and MJ from Endless RVing and Bob at Blue Wave Odyssey. We all pretty much started our channels right about the same time. And, Endless RV, and they have just exploded over the last 2 years.
They really have. They're the hardest working channel out there, man.
They work it. Thank you. Yeah, I mean, they're doing 3 or more, and a lot of them are, good content too. They're working their buns off there, and even despite the fact that MJ has had some health conditions, but she's back at it now, isn't she?
Yeah, I think so. And then Bob, Bob built the community. So, he was growing hand over fist, trying to bring us all together. And then he got to where he couldn't, do it anymore. So we all kind of went off and did our own.
Yeah. And we all try to help the community however we can.
You bet.
What a lot of us end up finding is after you've gotten your 1,000 subscribers, you start getting a little bit beyond that. It starts getting harder to keep in contact with that community. The community starts getting too big.
Yep.
To be able to do that. It's not that none of us don't want to do that.
Right.
It's just, it's so time consuming to try to keep up with everybody that you can't do it.
And that's a good thing, though. The community is large, and it's been really wonderful.
So
nice people.
As long as we keep up the encouragement of smaller channels, as everything they start growing, and keep that community going. Even if we're checking out on channels a little here and there, the community continues to grow.
Yeah.
It's just when you get to be a little bit bigger channel, it is much harder to check in on the smaller channels.
Oh yeah, yes. Now I want to kind of just acknowledge so many people here, but Barefoot in Alaska, Dana, she spends a lot of hours with the Adventures of Traveling Mike, the nighttime show, the late edition. But it's so nice when people give back like you all do. And I just want to say to Dana, thank you for the time. And by the way, I guess we did another one I'm thinking of is Ron C. He came all the way from Texas up to Oregon, and he's also committing to having several hours, a show that they do on this 7x24 show. But, it takes special people to go to help something that goes on for, I think, it was at 26 days is what they had the first iteration, but that's something when it's kind of a variety show, I guess you might say. Mm-hmm. So are you familiar with that, The Adventures of Traveling Mike?
Yeah, I've popped in there a couple times as they've been running it. Like I said, though, it is really hard to keep up with everybody. You can maybe keep up with a couple handfuls of people at a time.
That's the trick, is at a time. You can't watch everyone's everything. So you have to kind of watch a few this week and a few the next week, or you have to kind of spread it out because it's just not possible.
It's kind of like commenting or replying to comments on your own channel.
Yeah.
At a certain point in time, we like to comment on stuff as they come in.
We try.
But at a certain time, you start to fall behind. You got to come back and spend a few hours here and there just replying to comments.
Yeah. But it does take some time, but it's so worth it.
Right. Especially takes on the fact, like you mentioned earlier, I will still work full time.
Yeah.
And I typically work overtime. So on top of that, having the YouTube channel and stuff, it's a lot of work for both of us. And
right.
But we do our best to stay above the water and stay afloat.
Yeah.
So if somebody has some problem with Microsoft Exchange server, should you give them your home phone number right now?
I prefer not to, but
yeah, no, that's true. When you got an 8x5 job, you need some time off for good behavior, and hey, you want to get away in your RV, like you say, and have some joy for life. Do you guys have any hobbies or other things you like to do for outlets?
Well, I enjoy pretty much anything outdoors, fishing, hunting, anytime I can get away from the computer and kind of just enjoy the outdoors however I can. Lori, she's a heavy metal rock fan. She enjoys concerts.
I love seeing live shows. Live shows are my jam. It's been really hard not being able to see anything with COVID and everything, but that I think is changing this summer. And all the shows that have come out so far in our area are when we are going to be camping. So I was kind of bummed about that. But I enjoy the outdoors as well. I've been fishing pretty much my whole life. And I like gardening and messing with the flowers and the plants and all that.
Yeah. And we got into RVing because of growing up in the outdoors. I've been bow hunting and small game hunting since I was 12 years old. And I grew up in the woods. I grew up roaming the woods as a child and camping and fishing. And we tent camped for a lot of years. And then it starts getting to a point, you know what? Tent camping's not quite so fun as you start to get older.
Yeah, you get a little older, tent camping's just about it. So we got into the RV.
That is so great. So tell us a little bit about your goals or your passions. It's wonderful when you guys got together, found each other, and you've been doing marvelous in terms of as a couple. And you mentioned you're going to be getting a new RV, or looking forward to that. But Corey, are you going to be working for a lot more years, or you just kind of wait and see, or what's your kind of thinking for the big plan for you two?
Well, it all depends, really. I mean, for those that don't know it, I work in IT. I'm a network administrator for a local community mental health agency. And Yeah, I have been there now for about 16 years. Altogether, I've worked as a network administrator for nearly 30 years now. And I've owned internet service provider businesses, web hosting companies,
Yes.
things like that over the years. Have done tons of that. I am certified in over 30 different technologies through Microsoft. I am certified through Cisco's engineering, Sonic Wall firewalls, Proxim wireless gear, you name it. I pretty much have certifications in just about anything that I touch.
Corey, you are pretty much certifiable. I guess Lori would agree, right?
I suppose.
Certifiable something.
But when he asked you what your plan was.
So, with that being said, the way the mental health industry kind of works, they kind of like you close to home. They like to have you in the office if they can. Now, some of that has changed with the pandemic, and there is talk that we might not need to be in the office as much as we ever used to be, and it might only be maybe once or twice a month. And this may open up additional opportunities, moving forward.
Being able to work from the road.
Yep. So.
Yeah.
So.
That's nice.
Now, granted, I still have about 15 more years before I actually reach retirement time. So.
Okay. So you just you get what, about 4 weeks of vacation time a year or something like that now?
No.
Actually, right now, with the time I have, plus being a state employee, I'm up to 8 weeks of vacation a year. So.
Oh, wow! Good for you.
Yeah, I typically get more vacation time than I can use in a year. So.
That's a problem to have, isn't it?
That's exactly. Renee Dusway, she was one of our neighbors at Oregon, and Grace did a wonderful interview. We also almost feel guilty to produce it because is she going to do one on her interview? I mean, on our new rig or not?
I don't know. Ask her.
Okay, so Renee, we'd love to do to share the interview that you let us record, but I just want to give a shout out for Renee Duswriter. That's a hard one. She's still new with her channel, but in terms of a DIYer, she has all the stuff, with a small, like a van size, but with the solar, the Dometic, having an outside rig that she can have for changing or shower, a place to sit down. And I've never seen these people with so little that can do so much. And I'm kind of wondering, Lori and Corey, in your early days, did you have smaller rigs or you always have the trailers?
We went right from tent camping. We had looked at pop-ups at the time because we didn't really know if we wanted to go RVing at first, or how we'd feel about it. Always tent camping and stuff. So we looked at pop-ups and things like that. And at the time, for a decent pop-up, it wasn't much more to get into a used, lower-end travel trailer. So we ended up going that route. Our first trailer was it was an older Starcraft 27-foot travel trailer.
Oh, yeah. It was a beater. It was a beater.
Yeah, it was a beater. It needed work. It needed some roof repair and some floor damage that needed to be repaired in it. And
that's a great way to start, though.
But it got us out. It got us to figure out what we were going to need in the next RV, and we camped for 3 seasons?
Yep, we camped for 3 seasons in that trailer.
Oh, including the year that I set it on fire.
Yeah.
That happens.
Yeah, if you didn't catch that, that was one of our first live streams that we talked about that.
About January or February of last year we talked about.
Yeah, that trailer, we had gotten it out of storage. I was having to work a ton of overtime in the office. I wasn't at home much.
I was being impatient.
She was trying to get the trailer ready for our big Mackinac trip, and she wanted to start the fridge, but we didn't really have enough power to run that old fridge that was in there. Yeah. So she wanted to run it on propane, and I kept telling her, no, wait, I want to make sure that everything's, clean in it and stuff. It's been setting. I
was like, oh, it'll be fine.
So it wasn't fine. She kept trying to light the refrigerator. It wouldn't light, and it finally caught something on fire and caught the trailer on fire.
So the fire was burning inside of it for quite some time, and then it exploded is how I found out about it. And by then it was a big fire.
It happens. Yeah. No, but it is frustrating when you've got something that won't light. And I guess just on our last trip, Gracie had that issue, is that she couldn't get her hot water heater lit. But eventually, one of the other RVs, in fact, it was kind of funny. It was Troy and Christian, is like, he came over and it's like, well, first it's got continuity on this circuit. I had my voltometer. Then it's got this circuit, and then there's 2 pills. I said, pills? Yeah, behind here there's fusible links. They call them pills. And I thought, oh, I think this guy knows what he's talking about. So he said, yeah, I'm an RV mechanic, and I learn things quickly. But speaking of which, Corey, I should say Lori, your husband, you chose wisely. This guy, when you listen to him talk, he knows all about not only the RV side of things, but also the pull vehicle that he's got there. So how did you find the guy, and how does he know so much about mechanical things? I'm kind of curious.
Well, I don't know if you've ever seen any of our old lives. We talked about it quite a bit, but we found each other back in 90?
90.
We both ended up working at Wendy's. He was right out of school, and I had been out of school a year or so. And we ended up circling back and finding each other years later. So that's how we found each other. But he grew up with a dad that had him hands-on with everything, and that's how he knows how to do all that stuff.
My dad was a homegrown mechanic. I was rebuilding engines at 7 years old.
Right.
I was sitting inside the garage honing out cylinders of engine blocks. At 7. So I grew up all around that. When I actually first graduated high school, I was planning on taking a different career path, and I went to school for auto, diesel, and marine mechanics. And I was extremely bored with it. I didn't want to turn around the rest of my life, and I got changed gears. I had taken some computer-aided drafting classes in high school and took VOTEC, and decided I was going to get some additional schooling and start with computer-aided drafting, and it ended up leading me down the line to becoming an IT person. So
it's so funny, the way you have these fate, serendipity, whatever it is. I was going to be in TV and radio repair in the 1970s, and but then eventually got into digital electronics and computers and everything else in my corporate career. But it's amazing how whatever it is, and this is true for YouTubers too, if you have some passion about it, if you enjoy it, then it's not really work so much. And Corey, when I was I used to work for Bell Labs for several years when as a systems engineer, and but the technology, the half-life of what it goes from about 3 years to 2 years to 18 months. So apparently you have either you work with it enough that you can retain it, or you just have that kind of a mind that you logically can assimilate new things as it changes, or how do you find that works for you?
I certainly try. I've been one my entire life, was kind of thrown into the fire here, try to make something work and have to figure it out. Some of my first adventures working as a network administrator, I worked for a local internet service provider who the owner was actually from California. And I got assigned a task to actually configure Cisco routers for Marlon Brando's house. So that was one of my first exposures with Cisco, and I had to figure it out. I had to get it working. I've configured all the equipment, sent it out there. And then, as you probably know, back, here 15, 20 years ago, a PC in California was pretty hard to come by.
Yeah.
Right.
The guy I was working for that was from out there bid a job to put in a Microsoft network for a company in Irvine, California, called Excalibur, who actually builds seismograph machines for measuring earthquakes. They bid the job sky high because they figured if they did get the job, they were going to have to fly me into California. And they got the job, and I ended up spending a month in Irvine, California, installing the Microsoft network.
Wow. How about that?
So
you were a roadie for a while, weren't you?
Yeah, I've been around the country a few times. Like I said, between training and different work and stuff, I've been inside of Dell corporate getting training, inside of Polycom corporate. I've been in some pretty major places over the years. So.
Speaking of which, you were a system administrator for, in the medical field, very important. So, what did you think about the Columbia? Was it the hack that happened a week ago? Obviously, it must have been some kind of ransomware, and they got into control systems. Is where they just decided to shut it down, and they could purge the viruses. But does that keep you up at night, or is that another person's department who takes care of the security for this stuff? I'm just kind of curious.
Nope, that kind of stuff. Anything as far as firewalls, network security, routers, switches, internet connections, things like that, phone systems, all that stuff falls onto me. So those are things I have to deal with on a daily basis. We actually got hit by a cryptocurrency virus about 2 years ago.
Wow.
Luckily, we had very good backups. We were able to stop it fairly quickly within a couple hours. We was able to restore everything from backups, and we were back up and going in about a day and a half. So it wasn't nothing.
That is wonderful. Wow. Thank goodness you got the backups, because for those who don't know, you have a database, the structured query language that people, if you're not in the latest patch of operating system or all the plugins, that the injections will sometimes get you. But so I guess you're saying is backups are the key, aren't they?
Yeah. And I've dealt with a little bit of everything. I deal with Exchange Server. I deal with SQL. I deal with just random Microsoft environments of any kind, whether it be terminal services. I don't know if you're familiar with what's called VDI. It's virtual desktop infrastructure.
I heard about it. Yeah, that's really nice for a support person like you.
We were one of the very first places here in Michigan to implement it back over 15 years ago. And we actually had 200 remote therapists working remotely with thin client laptops, running virtual desktops in a server environment. For over about 5 years, we were running them that way.
See, I'm sure some of the people who have to help their moms or have their daughters help them or whatever, is that built into the Windows 10 system, there are some tools for remote access, aren't there? Can you, anything to share that might help people in terms of just the basics on what exists and they can learn more on their own?
Yeah, I help people randomly once in a while. I helped Kathy from Kathy's Outdoor Adventures. Helped her a little bit when she was first getting started. I did some channel art for her and some thumbnails, and she was needing some help on trying to how to overlay the thumbnails inside Photoshop. So we used programs like TeamViewer. TeamViewer,
okay. That's a separate program. I thought there was something actually in Microsoft that allowed remote access as well.
There is some stuff, but they're just not as robust as some of the some of the third-party stuff out there. There's stuff like LogMeIn, TeamViewer, Fix Me IT, things like that. There's different programs out there that allow you to connect really easily. They open up a program, give you a code, whatever their computer's showing. I put in the code, boom, I take over their computer, and I can control their mouse and show them what's going on. And we can work together, pretty darn good as far as, trying to teach somebody something.
Yeah. Speaking of which, we should give you a plug for that. Tim, Time for Exploring, I guess, came to you and said, I would like something with a clock at the hour of 4, since I'm time for exploring. And he had a couple other attributes he liked. And so you guys did a sticker for him. Tell us about that and the service you might provide.
Oh, yep. Tim's was, I think, one of my best work, really.
It was beautiful.
It turned out nice.
Because he came to me with an idea. He didn't really know exactly what he wanted, but he did want a clock, and he did want it at 4 o'clock. And so actually that image for that sticker ended up being about 20 or 30 different images that I took pieces and manipulate the pixels to what you want it to be and actually blend things together. The clock was not at 4 o'clock. It was at some other time. I had to change that, things like that. And put together the full package for people. I would do a channel art. I do a logo so they have something for a sticker. And I usually give them an overlay for a thumbnail if they choose to use that, that they can use on, Canva, or just using the thumbnail creator in TubeBuddy or whatever.
You've probably done, what, 10 channels or so?
I've done quite a few. I've done Susan from New Horizons twice now. We just redid hers. I just did the channel art for Izzy and MJ. They started a second channel that is the Pitbull Adventures of Sierra and Browser, which is MJ's two Pitbulls. Yep. I just did the channel art for that. I did Tim from Time for Exploring. I've done Kathy's Outdoor Adventures. Done quite a few of them over the last couple of years. So.
Yeah, well, you're good with tools, and so we talked earlier, Lori, about him with how handy he was. Do you find that when it's in the RV that he's got a lot of his stuff, his man toys? I know he has drones and things like that, but hey, that's who we are. We're sorry about that. But just
We're
imagine.
Not sorry about that at all. Give me a break.
No, he must have a lot of stuff in his RV, doesn't he?
Oh, yeah, he's got lots of stuff. Yeah, I'm used to
it.
Yeah. So then we're going to go right to it. The thing that I'm not a master on, I'm not even proficient on it, but I'm beyond a neophyte, and you are the expert when it comes to Blackstone Griddle and the Facebook, and that has propelled you, now that you're very close or maybe past the 100,000 followers. So tell us all about Blackstones.
Well, when we were first thinking of starting this channel, I had been looking for a new grill. We used to have the old Coleman LXE grills that a lot of RVers had. I went through a couple different ones. They'd only last about a year and a half, and they just wouldn't work right anymore. You couldn't get them going right. Mm-hmm. And I got tired of buying them. I was on my third one in 6 years, and it's like, you know what? I want to find something different. And I started doing a little bit of research, and Blackstone was starting to get pretty popular. And I kept looking around, and one of the requirements I really wanted, because with the Coleman grill, I had the griddle and I had the burners to be able to use like pans and stuff on too.
Right.
And so one of the requirements I really wanted is I wanted one that had a burner, a side burner along with it. Mm-hmm. And at the time I was looking, they didn't offer it.
Right.
So I started out, I bought a little 17-inch Blackstone, loved the concept, but I still wanted that side burner. Well, I kept looking, and that spring that we started the channel, they came out with a 28-inch Blackstone range top combo that has two side burners.
Wait a second, 28 inches the one you have?
Yep.
Holy smoke!
It's a monster.
It's a small one. Is it 19 inches? What I have? It must weigh 30 pounds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. This weighs about 400 pounds.
Yeah. And we take it camping.
This way, Lori, this way the RV, it doesn't bounce at all. It's smooth over the bumps.
Yeah. On our longer trips, I do take the big one camping.
30 feet.
Use the deer hoist.
Yeah. But now, when it comes to tell us a little bit, for those who don't know, about the difference between a grill and a griddle, and the season and the type of cooking, because some people I'm sure that might be interested, they would appreciate your knowledge.
Right. Your grills, as far as gas grills, I always hated the fact after they got rid of lava rock in gas grills. That was where you got most of your flavor from your gas grill, was because of lava rock and that collection of grease and the even heat and stuff. When they got rid of that, the gas grills really didn't produce much flavor anymore when you were cooking. So what a griddle is, it's literally like having a cast iron pan on top of a barbecue grill on top of a fire. It is actually cold rolled steel that actually gets seasoned identical to a cast iron skillet. Mm-hmm. You layer oil onto it, let it smoke off, season it. And when you're done with it, you clean it with a little bit of water and steam the stuff off of it, scrape it off, treat it with a little thin layer of oil, and it's good to go for the next time. All those things were really big selling points for us because, we do all of our cooking outside when we camp. We still cook outside kind of like we would if we were tent camping, a little bigger scale because we have such a big griddle, but we cook everything outside. I cook stuff in cast iron. I do Dutch oven cooking, things like that. And the Blackstone was the answer for us because we wasn't dirtying all the pans and things like we would.
That was a big thing. Is a whole lot less work and mess.
Yep. I can cook so much stuff on it. It doesn't matter if it's 3 or 4 of us or if it's 20 of us. My girdle's big enough I can handle.
You can, yeah,
everything all at once.
Yep.
So on that note, is that the cleaning supplies? I got the kit that came with it, and it's got the scrapers. We have the little hole there where you can scrape things in. It has a nice container where it goes. Just let it get cold. You're fine. And do you use a stone then to kind of clean it also, or just like me? I sometimes I kind of go like I got my paper towel here, but what do you use after you've had done with, so that because they are very easy to take care of.
Usually, what I do is I just go ahead and scrape everything that you can scrape off of it, steam it with water while it's hot. Just put the water on it, let it steam it. It'll lift any food that's left right off the griddle.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And then I'll throw a paper towel down with my tongs and just wipe it all down, get it nice and dry. And then I'll just put a couple drops of oil on it, smear it around with a clean paper towel, and it'll dry out and just leave it at that, and it's good to go. Now, I will use a stone. They make the grilling bricks that you can.
I do have a couple of those, yes.
I do use those for like when you get maybe a little bit of rust, like maybe it sits outside, gets a little water in it. You end up with a little rust. Sometimes if you're cooking things that are high in sugar content, that are using
like teriyaki sauce,
like teriyaki, barbecue, things like that, that sugar damages seasoning.
Yeah, it burns it right up.
So the hotter the griddle is, the sugar gets on it. You know how sugar is in the microwave; it catches fire. Well, it's the same thing.
That's
on the
a good point.
Yeah. Same thing on the Blackstone. It creates hot spots and it ruins the seasoning.
I'm sorry. How long do you let it warm up? Like 5-10 minutes before you start, or
yeah, usually kick it on about 5-10 minutes. Just let it get going, bring it up to temp, things like that. So, but yeah, along the lines of the Facebook group, because we were starting to do some videos on Blackstone and stuff with the RV, we wanted to be able to have places to promote those videos. So I've actually had some experience with Facebook in the past, building business pages and things like that. And one of the things you have to know about Facebook is that no matter what you have for followers, Facebook's only going to let about 10% of those people see whatever you post.
You heard it here first. 10% come through unless you're going to do a boost. They're not going to let you go through too much, are they?
No. Unless you're paying for traffic, they're not going to see it. So if you have 1,000 people that like your Facebook page, only 100 are going to see it. And that's just kind of the way it is. Facebook does that so they can make money. So you end up with a little bit bigger engagement if you go with the groups. Now, groups are more closer, about 15 to 20%. We'll see it compared to the 10.
Okay.
And the good thing about a group is you have community involvement. Where if you have a business page, which we all should have a business page anyways, but if people post things to your page, it goes to a community tab that most people never see because they go to your business page. But if you have a Facebook group, those people start building their own community within your group. So what we did, and I've suggested this for a few other people, because people are like, all like, how do you grow a group so big? And the thing I can tell you is if you want to start a group, don't just create this is my Facebook group for my YouTube channel. Because unfortunately, I've said this to people before, nobody knows you enough to care.
Right.
You have a group, they don't know who you are. They don't care to say, oh, well, I want to be a part of their group.
Yeah, if you were a big enough channel and had a big enough following, then yes. But when you're small, like you said, no one knows you, so no one's going to care.
So just like they tell you on YouTube about, niche down, same thing with a Facebook group. Find something that's within your RV community that's a smaller niche of the RV community
that you know about, that you yourself experience or deal with, and that you have knowledge of.
Right. You want a very specific topic. Niche it down to that topic. Create like for us, it was a Blackstone group. We also have an RV 911 help group. on Facebook as well. That's at 15,000 members right now.
Oh, well, congratulations. You got a second group. I didn't know about that.
We have 3.
Yeah, we have 3. We have Blackstone Cooking, we have Cast Iron Cooking, and we have RV Help 911.
Well, my goodness. Now, I guess you do get, like, if you have 100,000 or very close to it now on your Facebook group, is that some of them will come. I think you've talked in your YouTube live streams that they may not be the same amount of loyalty as you would get if somebody they found you in YouTube. But nonetheless, if some of them will convert over, hey, if you get 5 or 10% that are still interested, that's good business. Exactly. So you have grown your YouTube channel. How much, Lori, from 2,000 to 2,300?
Yep. Yeah, we've grown 300 in the last month on our YouTube channel.
Man, that is amazing. Over 10% in 1 month. Whew.
Yeah.
Yeah, just by asking people from the groups to, go check us out.
Yeah, just say, hey, if you're interested, and it's been a really positive experience.
And if you're interested, I should say, if they're interested, there's been a latest development in Blackstone with their electric version and ceramic top. Tell us about that, you guys.
Well, I first started hearing about it middle of the winter, that they were going to be coming out with this model. And I started keeping an eye out for it because I know our local Walmart will start bringing stuff in about March 1st for the spring season. So I kept watching, and we started seeing some local Walmarts getting one single unit. One unit per store. And our store got one, and I bought it the day they got it. And I brought it home. I wanted to do a video about it right away, which we did. I think it's going to be a very good unit for possibly couples that travel in a motorhome or a class, B or C, that want to be able to use a griddle indoors or outdoors, either or. If they want a small griddle, this one's a 17-inch. It's a 750 watt. Now, I've heard people complain, how is it different from a 1,500 watt like Presto? I'm actually very impressed with it. It does a very good job. I think it doesn't have the hot and cold spots like the Presto type aluminum griddles have. It heats very evenly. And Blackstone decided to change it up a little bit with us because I think the big thing you think of when you think of the electric griddle, don't think of it as a total replacement for an outdoor griddle.
No.
This is to fill a void that was in the market. And it's that the Blackstone customers was wanting to be able to cook inside. And they created a product to be able to handle that. And in doing that, because of it being inside, they actually created this one. Instead of cast iron or cold rolled steel, it is an aluminum cooktop that is ceramic titanium
with a glass lid.
So that makes it very easy to clean, doesn't it, Lori?
Oh,
you can't even get food to stick to it if you tried.
Yeah, you have a hard time putting the food off of it. You just push it all over the place.
Yeah, you just push it around the pan. You can't even get it picked up.
So can you cook pancakes with it, though? I mean, provided you get it to the temperature, it'll
go up to 500 degrees.
Wow. So Grace wanted me to ask a question. Thank you, Grace, for that.
It has a big enough lip, things won't run off. So
you can do scrambled eggs on it and everything. And it works really good. It has a rear grease compartment, just like the newer Blackstones have for outdoors.
So and I think you have enough knowledge on cooking when it comes to you start with bacon first, then put the eggs on. So there's an order of the way you do things to make it so the flavor comes through, correct?
Oh, yeah. So, and obviously you want to start with the things that are going to take longer to cook. The big thing with a Blackstone when you're cooking, especially an outdoor Blackstone, because you can literally run these things up to almost 700 degrees. You don't need to. That's the thing people think. They think they need to have it, as hot as hell of Dalmatian.
There we go.
Oh, you don't need that.
The biggest thing I can say is treat it like you would be cooking on your stove at home.
Yep.
It'll cook anything. Anything.
There's only one time I cook that I keep the grill on high and run it full blast, and that's if I'm going to bake in it.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And people always question this because they're like, "Why do you want to bake?" Well, if you're camping, I can bake 4 times the biscuits in 10 minutes on the Blackstone than she can cook in the oven in the camper.
Mhm.
Yes.
So, I can cook 5 containers of the little refrigerator biscuits all at once while she's doing one. So
you can bake 2 pizzas or 3.
And how I do that, how I bake into it, I use a metal cooling rack, or mine's actually a jerky rack they use for making jerky in the oven.
Yep.
It sets up just a little bit higher than your normal cooling rack. It's built a little heavier.
Yes.
And I set it right on my griddle, and I can put biscuits on it, close my lid, and it lets the air circulate around it, and I can bake it.
You do have to flip them, like you wouldn't do that at home, but you have to flip them. But yeah, you can bake and do anything on it.
Yeah, I've baked biscuits, I've baked cinnamon rolls, I've done pizzas.
Man. Yeah, I guess I think you could have a cooking channel and do quite well. Grace, by the way, she asked me this question that I don't know. Over on the side of the Blackstone griddle, there's a hole, not on the bottom, on the side. I thought, is that like where if you had a nail or something, you hang it from it? I mean, the secondary use for a Blackstone griddle, as far as I was concerned, is that if a thug is coming into your RV, you just hit them with it, man. They're gonna go down. They're not gonna mess with you. But I don't know what that hole is there for on the side of it.
Yeah, usually the hole on the side is just where the regulator will hook in through, like your 17 or 22 inch. It has the regulator hook up through that. Now, see, my 28 inch, I don't have the holes. I do have vents around to let air circulate around. Now, like Lori said, you might have heard Lori say we take our big Blackstone camping with us, which it is a little over 5 foot wide with the side shelves and everything. And people always ask me, how do I transport that? And I carry it in the back of my lifted Super Duty truck. And I put it in with a game hoist that I used for when I would hunt. It'll hold up to 400 pounds. I can slip it in the receiver of my truck. I can winch the girdle up. I can spin it around and set it down in the bed of the truck. And it can actually be loaded with a single person. So,
very nifty. Well, going back to where you live, now I don't think a lot of people know that much about the mystery behind Mackinac. And there's a Mackinac Island. Not that you go RVing there, but I think you like that as a getaway. Tell us a little bit about the mystery behind Mackinac.
Well, part of the biggest thing about Mackinac is the history that's here. If it wasn't for Mackinac, most of this country probably would have never happened, because the majority of all fur trade that happened through the 16, 17, and early 1800s happened through Mackinac, through the straits of the area. It was the largest fur trading location in the country, and it was really amazing history about that. And because of that, there was a number of battles over the years that had happened in that area, fighting between the French and the British over that area, simply because of the fur trade that was available there. So there is tremendous history in the area that has been documented over the years. Now, one of the things that I've always tried to tell people, because people don't know it, there is a rather large rock that protrudes from the Straits of Mackinac, and is called McGulplin Rock. And people don't know about it. It actually predates Plymouth Rock. And its historical value is just as much as Plymouth Rock, but it was never documented in the English books, because the British lost the area to the French. So the only French documentation there is about it, the English wrote the American history books. So they excluded that out of it. It's not in it. Nobody knows anything about it.
There's a lot of stuff missing because of that.
But this whole area doesn't get added into the history books because of that. But there is tremendous amount of history from the area.
Isn't that amazing? It's I think that's a great part about you go for something because you like the sights or the scenery, just to get away. Maybe have some YouTube things you can put out there. But then you find out that it's rich history. My parents, my father's side was from Germany, and they left in the mid 1800s because they got tired of in Bavaria fighting wars, always getting drafted and getting shot up. And my mom's side, they left from, well, there's a soldier left from Paris in the 1600s and went to Quebec. And as you say, the British and then the Americans were, if there's fur trading, this is Lake Huron. And so does that have anything special about that Great Lake? I mean, is there a lot of fishing and other things besides the fur trading? I assume there must be.
All the Great Lakes are known for fishing. All the way around the Great Lakes, it didn't really matter where you're at. But because of the Straits of Mackinac being the closest points between bodies of land, with only a 5-mile stint between the Upper and Lower Peninsula, a lot of that fur trade happened there because they could come through from Ontario up through Sault Ste. Marie down to that area and be able to access the chain of lakes and be able to get from anywhere from Chicago to New York to Minnesota, anywhere once they reach the lake system.
All
so
the way out to the
we've actually been wanting to do a video. We have some footage for it, talking about a man called Father Marquette, who is very well known in the state of Michigan for multiple things, in multiple areas of the state, but he's primarily known for things that happened in the Straits of Mackinac, where he actually had built a ministry up there to be able to, as a safe haven for the migrants that were coming to that area at the time.
Right. Grace has studied this. Yes. Mm-hmm.
He actually took a journey as one of the first to take the journey from the Straits of Mackinac down through Lake Michigan into the inland rivers and down the Mississippi River to explore what is now the Midwest.
He was the first person to do that.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing?
Just tremendous amounts of history.
Just because he wanted to see where it would go.
Well, yeah,
that's true. Yeah.
Crazy.
Mm-hmm. So have you ever been up to Canada?
I've been across into Canada at the Sioux years ago, briefly. We were up to the Sioux Locks last year.
Yeah, we were waving at it.
Within stone throws of Canada.
Yeah, we're about 100 yards from it. But and my daughter goes to college in Port Huron, which is down the southern part of the state, and she's directly across from Canada as well, and we can wave at it from there too. But I've never been there.
Yeah.
Now,
well, someday we'll get back.
I've been through Canada when I was a teenager too, through Port Huron and over to Niagara Falls. Through the Canadian side that way before too.
So I guess there was a question, just kind of double back. A lot of things coming in there about Gina, and you said, Grace, that she made a meatloaf in a Blackstone grill or something like that. Is that right?
No, that was
the smoker.
In the oven smoker. Oh, okay.
There is a question for Corey about.
There's a question.
How much does his smoker weigh?
Like 800 pounds this smoker weighs. No, 29 inches. It must be, gosh, more than 60, isn't it?
Well, the Blackstone itself weighs close to 400 pounds because it has a full cabinet underneath of it and stuff. But my smoker, I have a master built smoker as well. It's a 30-inch propane smoker. It's rather light. It's probably lucky if it weighs 80 or 90 pounds.
Okay.
And if we're traveling somewhere, I'll mount the smoker. I have a rack on the back of the camper.
We take it
and
everywhere.
I'll put the smoker on the rack on the back of the camper and tie it all down and take that with us. So
Corey makes a mean smoked meatloaf.
Yep.
Okay, you make meatloafs also then?
Yep. I make bacon wrapped smoked meatloaf. I make
macaroni and cheese,
smoked mac and cheese, things like that.
Yep. Ham.
Nice.
Somebody say bacon.
Chicken.
Somebody say bacon. In fact, I guess we weren't able to stay the last night of the Oregon 21, but the night before is that Troy, he had some really good Canadian bacon that he put on his hamburgers, cheeseburgers.
Troy Rat Pack.
Rat Pack, yes. Yeah. And they have the cutest rats. Now, we have a Siberian Husky, and I wasn't sure when it saw, they have like some big bird cages that they have their rats on. They're the friendliest little guys. And they seem to get along pretty well together there. So you never know about that kind of stuff. But yeah, they have some really good pets. A good couple of guys. I really enjoyed their company. So going off to Lori, I saw a video that you did the other day. And, Corey's got a lot to say, and you do too. So tell us about the Benji look. Do you know what I'm talking about when I say the Benji look? What tell us about the Benji look?
Oh, the Benji look is a joke between us, but there's a YouTube channel called Think Media, and they are a wonderful channel, has such wonderful tips and tricks for YouTubing. But the smile and the nod is the Benji, and I know he's doing it right now, isn't he?
Right.
So my biggest problem when we were trying to make videos was, not to just stare blindly into the camera while he was talking. So that became the running joke that I needed to give the Benji, where I turn and I look and you gotta do something. It's better than looking vacant.
Yeah, you don't want to be Bambi in the headlights and be frozen completely.
Right.
And I think it helped us because, when we first started our live streams, about 14, 15 months ago, we started January of last year when we started doing lives. We had never went live before in our life. We were, complete newbies at it. And we weren't even really comfortable on the camera at that point in time. We'd only been doing YouTube for about 6 months.
You guys are doing great.
So, the lives really help you get used to the camera.
It sure does.
If you're nervous about filming and the camera and stuff like that, do lives. It'll help. After a few months of doing lives,
even do some fake lives. Just stare at the camera and talk to it, and and get used to looking at it, because that's the only way it's ever going to work.
Yeah,
you got to do it.
Well, I've heard, like an actor said, just imagine, first of all, you got to get rid of the bad devil that's always like your 6th grade teacher that was always critical of you. Throw it off and imagine that when you're camera, you're talking to your best friend. If you need to, put a picture of your best friend, your mom or whomever, and just be talking to that person, and just kind of forget about somebody judging you, and just, be natural. And if you make a flub, pretend like you didn't make a flub go on, or laugh at your flub, because they like it when you're intimate and vulnerable.
Exactly. Yep.
Right. And I think that's kind of one thing as you do YouTube for a while and you start to learn. When we first start out, we want to get rid of all of our mistakes because we want it to be perfect. And what you come to find is that when you get rid of all your mistakes, you seem really dry and impersonable.
Or you seem fake. Like people might think, well, they don't really know what they're doing. They're just reading a script.
Yeah. What we came to find is that, until we started doing lives, a lot of people thought I didn't have a personality. They thought I was really dry. And
well, it is true, because when you're in the corporate world, people, especially if you're in like a medical community, banking community, things, they don't want you just to be a big screw up. They want to know that, they're getting good value, and that it's not like, I'm sorry, that one mistake cost us $50,000 or $100,000 or something like that.
Right.
But
the biggest thing we've found is being yourself is your best bet, no matter what it is, whether it's a live or a video. Trying to pretend that you're perfect, or trying to pretend that people will find that out. They can see what you're doing. So
they can see under the veneer real quick, can't they?
Stumble over your words, say something wrong. It doesn't matter. It's more personable just to be yourself.
Yeah.
Right.
And because of this, we're actually changing how we're going to be doing videos this year.
Yeah.
We're wanting to include more vlog style into it. People are wanting more of that, like you're just talking to them sort of thing.
Community wide, and we've seen that on all different genres on YouTube, is people want you to talk to them like you're talking to them. Right.
And it doesn't matter, even if it's a how-to, they want to feel that personal connection of like you're actually talking to them.
And Grace gives me sometimes the elbow in the ribs, and she says, Michael, look at the camera. Look at the camera. So that's something I think we all work on a little bit.
She does it all the time.
He does it
too. So do you have, now, Lori, you gave us one of your moments of vulnerability with, the refrigerator, and, you got to get it heat to get it to go cold. I'm wondering, Corey or Lori, do you have any more stories? I'm sure we can share some of ours too, but any of these life lessons learned, or in other words, bad decisions, make good stories?
Well, the one I can think of right off the hand is if you have an older camper that has the old style stops, make sure you're checking them all the time. The rivets on those things will get worn over time.
Oh.
And I went to step out of the camper one day, and I no more than barely put any weight at all in the top step, and the rivets sheared onto it, went completely flat, and I nosedived into the driveway.
Face first.
Right into the gravel.
Yeah. It's one of those things you just trust that it's going to work every time. You never check it.
Yep. Needless to say, I bought a set of more rides the next week.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, that is true. We do have things, and I think so many of us, and what you kind of alluded to earlier, is the faster you go, the behinder you get. You know, when you're in a hurry, is sometimes, you know, I don't know if you have like a pilot's level of checklist. I think I used to be, and then, well, Grace says we have 28-point checklist that you do checking in the RV, right?
It's 30 now.
Now it's 30, because then there's like, oh, we have a television. What, you know, some of the Class C's, they have a bed area. This one has a lot of storage and a television. I thought, well, rather than have a fixed TV, I've got it where it's articulating so it can fold out, and I get more stuff behind it. But if I don't lock it into position, when you're going down the road, all of a sudden that TV is starting to swing around. And so, yeah, if we have enough time to do due diligence, and that includes what I learned in AT&T when I worked there, do a circle check, you know, walk all the way around, because something like, oh, you know, I thought I unplugged, you know, whatever it was, the sewer hose or the power cord or something like that. But I found that it does help if I take just a little extra time sometimes.
Yeah, when we first got our rig, the second or third trip, I left the bathroom door open, which has to be closed to bring in the slide. So we crushed that and broke it off the wall. This next year or the year after, I can't remember which, I didn't check all the cupboards to make sure they were all latched, and we pulled out the slide after we had already pulled it in. It came in fine, but when we let it out, it had opened far enough in travel that it ripped the door off. So we all
we didn't need that door there anyway, darling, right?
Yeah, there's always something that's left open or whatever, and you have to be diligent. You just do.
There's always things to repair on an RV.
Yeah, that's true too. Well said. We've always got things that are chinks in our armor. They're not quite running on all cylinders. But Grace, I think I had one that was $1,000 or $2,000. Do you remember what that was? Grace, can you remember that? Anything that was $1,000 or $2,000 gotcha in the recent years?
Just the air mattress one.
Oh, yeah. So when we were on our 80 days around the United States, and what state was that in? Was that
it was Tennessee?
Tennessee. And so we have a Siberian Husky, 80 pounds, and he's got, you know, these claws. They're incredibly like a bear claws, and so. Grace thought, you know, it would be nice to have him come up on the bed. So we're like, here, Clicky, come on up. Well, when he put his paws in, this couch folds out into a bed, and within about 1 or 2 seconds, it was flat.
Less than a second.
Less than a second. It's like, oh, I guess we won't be sleeping on that tonight. So that was it. That's a cheap one. That was just kind of a laugh because, you know, we could go to Costco and buy a replacement.
It was a wake up with seatbelt up the back of
Yeah, that's right. So we went to Plan B, I guess. And so, like you say, when things aren't always working quite right, and when you got somebody like Corey, it's not half bad, right? Because you can always improvise or get enough baling wire or duct tape or something, right?
Well,
he's got such a huge assortment of things.
That's one thing I've always wanted to be, is to over plan for everything.
We both are over planned.
Yeah.
So you can imagine how full our RV is.
And because we often travel in groups camping,
yeah, we do.
We're typically the ones who have all the spare stuff.
Because we have stuff.
You know, so we've got, you know, extra hoses and extra electrical cords and
exactly.
Extra clothes and bedding and food and dishes.
Right, I got these little toolboxes that are the cantilever type that open up like a fishing tackle.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I love those things. I call them my junk drawers. And everyone that has an RV should have a junk drawer, just like you have a junk drawer in your house. Yep. And there you put all the spare parts, screws, bolts, things like that. Fuses, put it inside that toolbox, and you keep that in your RV.
You'd be amazed how often you get into that.
I don't think we've ever had a camping trip that the junk drawer didn't get pulled up for something.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, the thing is we know it's trying to find it. Now, Lori, I guess you're probably very organized with the stuff in the kitchen. You always keep it in the same place, and you know kind of know where to find it at this point.
Yeah.
But Corey, how about you? When you get like, I don't know, a new drone or this or that, is there things that you like? Where's my extra battery or whatever it is?
He's like that.
Do you compartmentalize things? Or what's that, Lori?
It starts out that way, but it goes south rather quickly.
He's not as organized as me.
Yeah.
And I think part of it comes because I just got too much stuff.
He has too much stuff.
Yeah, that is true. That's the blessing, the curse. Sometimes I like to think, I just wish I had 1,000 strings with like, okay, this is for my I don't know, a multiplier for my Canon camera, and like I just pull on it and see where it goes. You know? It's like I know it's in that RV somewhere.
Yeah. She always gets after me if we have even a day trip or whatever, all the camera equipment and stuff we have to take with us. You know, I end up with 4, 5, 6 bags of stuff that has to go to the car.
Right, because like he said, he's an over planner. So everywhere we go, I have extra food and sunscreen and towels and all that, and then he's got extra equipment. So we have all this stuff everywhere we go.
I gotta have the drone, I gotta have the Canon camera, and I gotta have both GoPros, and I gotta have the DJI Pocket, and I gotta have all the mounts for the GoPro, and the Joby tripods. And
do you compartmentalize them in like bins? I've kind of found that sometimes having bins of things, like if this is kind of camera or audio gear or battery gear. How do you manage it?
She's trying to force me into it.
I'm trying.
She bought me a stackable toolbox that has the little rollers on it.
Yeah.
And she wants me to put my camera gear in there so that we can just roll that to the truck and be on our way.
How long ago was Christmas?
I've had it since Christmas.
Christmas Day? It's still sitting where we left it. But the tag's still on it. The tag's still on it.
Yeah.
That's
funny.
I got to get started on it because we've got camping trips coming soon.
Yes.
That's true. Say, by the way, I did want to get to your membership subscription, which I do enjoy, and I wanted to give a chance for you to do a shout out on it. So, for when a person gets to their 4,000 hours and 1,000 subscribers, then they can have a membership channel. So you do extra live streams for those who are your loyal Patreons, don't you?
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, we do extra members lives each week.
And thank you for being a member.
And thank you very much for being a member.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We also have intentions to start producing more into that as we start recording here again this year, and be able to do some behind the scenes clips, things like that, as well as some members giveaways, because our members are awesome. They pay a little fee each month to gain access that people don't normally have.
Yep.
And you can get to that by either on our channel hitting the join button and becoming a member, or we also have our extra domain name members.thenorthwoodsrvlife.com that will take you directly to that join button as well. So that way when we do live streams to Facebook and things where they don't see the join button, we have somewhere to direct them to try to become a member.
And I believe you have a Northwoods store. What if you don't sell it on the store? You send them to a Amazon with your affiliate link. So tell us about that.
We do.
Yes. Because of my background in web design, web hosting, all that stuff, as we all start out as Amazon associates, it's kind of limited as what you have. If you're not an Amazon influencer, you don't have their special little page that you can put stuff on. Which I don't really know is a benefit over what I'm doing. But if, as an Amazon associate, you have the option to ask for an API key, which if you're not familiar with what that is, this is a special code that lets you get in the back door of Amazon to be able to sync products and things to Amazon. And I purchased a WordPress script from a programmer to be able to do an actual online store that is linked into Amazon with my API key, and I can add Amazon products directly to my store and send people that way. And part of the reasons why I did this is because Amazon doesn't really like it when you share affiliate links into closed Facebook groups. Like when you're sharing Amazon links into RV groups and things on Facebook that you have to become a member to join.
They don't like that.
They don't like that. They want to be able to see where that link is coming from.
You actually get in trouble for that.
You can actually lose your associates for that. So what we do is we put that on our store, It allows us to share the link to the product on the store so that we don't get in trouble with Amazon. And on top of that, because we have a store that's set up that way, those products can be found by Google search, which helps bring our sales up other than just links and videos. So.
Yeah, it's interesting though, and for those who don't know it, I'm sure you all do, is that you may have like my Bridge Hands website. I would have bridge books. Believe it or not, people want to read this, and maybe it helps them sleep at night. I don't know, but I guess it's when you have that opportunity and a person clicks that link and then they buy like a big screen TV or something more sizable. You get a percentage of that. I don't know if it's for 24 hours. Have you found that there are things that we're outside of what you normally sell that people have also? You've got some affiliates?
We get stuff all the time. One of the big products that seem to get bought through Google search all the time is 10 by 20 canopies, like you'd set up to put over top of your car or whatever, carports, little portable carports. We sell a lot of those through Google search. That people hit our website, find it, and they buy the product that way.
Yeah, it puts their cookie in for like a month, doesn't it?
Yeah, Amazon, when they click on one of your links, it's good for 30. It's good for 24 hours.
Oh, okay.
I think 24 hours is what it is.
We're also affiliates through another company called AdvanaLink. AdvanaLink is an affiliate network where multiple places sign up to allow you to become affiliates through. So we are actually a Walmart affiliate through AdvanaLink. We are Good Sam affiliates. Solo Stove, stuff like that. Dometic. We get to be affiliates through all that through AdvanaLink. The big thing for us to do that was because of Walmart, because so many Blackstone products are Walmart exclusives.
Right.
So in order to make affiliate sales on Blackstone products, need to be a Walmart affiliate. So
right. Say, by the way, I guess we have about used to be 5 minutes, now it's 4 minutes, and then we're going to do a raid over on Van Life with Gina, who is back in the Grants Pass area. We're about 20 miles away from her, I think, and so Captain, I'm kind of in the sandwich seat here. Grace and I goes from Captain Jack to me in the middle. It used to be Donovan's site, and he fortunately handed it over to us, and then Van Life, and she rocks, and I hope she likes the new microphone. When we were up there, she said mine's got a little crackle, and I don't know if you know about the Blue Yeti mic, but it's big, and I've not used it, and nothing better than to give it to a friend who can make good use of it. So she is the rock star. If you ever get a chance to watch her channel, she does a great job of promoting the people who are just getting started. So towards the end of our show, before we do the raid, is there any other topics that you'd like to talk to? Should I bring up a couple more that are in my bag of tricks?
I don't think so, but I did want to shout out all the wonderful people you've had in the chat tonight. We haven't really addressed anyone. We've been busy chatting, but I appreciate all of you guys coming in and seeing us tonight. A lot of new faces, a lot of new channels that we need to check out, obviously, so we'll have to look into that.
Yep.
Looks like Rob and Jan are saying hello to us. Hello, and you're welcome for all the good information. We appreciate you guys being here.
Yeah, so make sure, if you haven't connected with us yet, go over to the Northwoods RV Life and hit that subscribe button and leave a comment so we can check you out.
Yeah, let us know you came from the show, and we'd appreciate that.
Yeah, because they've got a big catalog, a back catalog of things. So if you want DIY things to do, that's great. If you want to go in their live streams, keep up with the latest that's going on or where they're heading in the future. And if you're interested, you can even become a membership like Grace and I are. And I guess is there, in the final question, I've got 1 minute left, and then we got to go, is it, what is your top seller in your store?
I would actually say mini loaf aluminum pans.
Yes.
Mini loaf aluminum pans. Yep. There you got it.
They use them for the Blackstone.
Yeah, they fit the grease trap on the 22 and the 17-inch Blackstones as a grease liner. So, and they're way cheaper to buy them as mini loaf pans.
Well, I guess Grace has given me the hook. So, thank you, Kathleen. Thank you for being the mod. Kathleen Klein, as always.
Gary, we love you too.
Job with it there. So I guess until Right. All right, Sasha. I'll be seeing you guys more online, of course, but I'm hoping that I can get Grace interested in going up to northern or at least central Michigan. So thanks, and we hope to see you up there.
Well,
thanks for having us on. We appreciate it.
Yep. And if you're in the area, we're glad to see you.
That's right. Take care.
Okay, for everybody else, this is the end of it. And then Lori and Corey, if you want to stay on for another minute before we do the raid, everybody go over to raid with Gina right now, Van Life with Gina. And for the rest of you, as always, happy trails to you. Until we meet again, peace and bye for now.
Happy
trails to you.